and entertainment purposes only.
जब हमारे परिवार के बुजुर्गों की सेहत और देखभाल की बात होती है तो घर पर इन होम केयर वाला ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है। अनलॉक का पेस प्रोग्राम एक ऐसा कन्वीनियंट एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड ऑप्शन है जिसके जरिए हमारे बुजुर्ग घर पर हमारे साथ रहकर यही देखभाल और सेवा का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या अनलॉक वाले पेस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही डेडिकेटेड एंड प्रोफेशनल केयर मिलेगी। अनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195. After months of screen time and no play dates, the Children's Discovery Museum is open for Purple Play Days of Summer. It's time to rediscover the wonder. Climb on the fire engine, splash around in the waterworks, blow bubbles, and scale the tree climber in Bill's backyard. Oodles of hands-on arts and culture, STEM, health, and nature-themed exhibits await your family. The Giant Purple Museum is open every day, Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are required at cdm.org. That's cdm.org.
Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's Good Morning
Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते,
नमस्कार,
वनकम,
नमस्कार,
खुशामदीद,
अस्सलाम वालेकुम,
सत श्री अकाल,
మీకు అందరికీ వందనము,
जय स्वामी नारायण,
जय श्री कृष्ण,
जय जनेन्द्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोल दे या अली मदद,
मोराली मदद बोलते हुए सारे फीजिए मतलब बोल के नीसा बुला बदजान हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारा। मैं सब फालतू बाबा
and of course myself फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और ड्राइव टाइम शो that's going to make it totally exciting and totally मस्तानी बन जानी।
And right about that, quick look at what's happening on the roads. Let's take a hard total सस्ते में।
It's time for the Bandu traffic update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Well, Bandujan, before I go to traffic, let me talk about the weather, Bandujan. Looks like the orange days are going to be back again. You might ask me why, because Northern California is again burning, Bandujan. And the smoke's, of course, coming up and clearing up thing. If you remember last year, Bandujan, we had the orange days. Probably looks the same way right now, but I don't know. I might be wrong, but the point is I might be right also, right? So you got to watch out for that. Air quality is not very conducive for us, so watch out for those things. Probably continue wearing a mask. It will not only protect you from coronavirus, probably from the weather as well. Quick look what's happening on the roads. Well, there is a traffic hazard on 680 in Milpitas area, but northbound south of Montague Expressway. Center divider is affected because of that. Doesn't seem to have an impact on traffic over there, nevertheless. So, well, that's a good thing, I suppose. Residual delays reported on 92 eastbound west of Delaware Street in San Mateo on 101 Cyberjan. So it's again not impacting traffic much. And similarly, there's also the traffic accident reported on Lincoln Avenue in Oakland area, which is not impacting traffic luckily, but of course, watch out for that particular region. Weather-wise, I told you, of course, climate-wise, look at it like, the smoke is quite evident, but of course, it's going to be fairly pleasant weather for us in terms of, it's somewhere in the lower 80s. I'm talking about 81, 82. It might seem cloudy. Actually, I don't think it's cloudy. I think it's smoke, but they claim it's cloudy. It's going to be cloudy all the way till noon, and probably it'll dry up, or clear up for us by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So until then, of course, enjoy the weather, but I would say stay indoors. I don't smell the smoke, but I can feel it, Badhujan. I can feel it because there's this recent report of fires and everything, which is totally burning up some parts of area. And also, there's also the brush fire on northbound 101 north of Tiburon Boulevard in Mill Valley. Watch out for that region if you're driving in those places. Now, as you know, it's dry condition. We don't have the rain coming in as yet. So it's still the dry spell we're going through. And heat waves and brush fires like this are going to be evident in this region. So that's the update for you guys on what's happening on the roads. But quick look at what's happening with the headlines. Or do you just want to jump into the news, Faldwani? How about we jump into the news, local news? What do you think?
Okay, sure, absolutely.
All right, but just this for the news desk of Media Mahima. This is your news updates coming up. And yes, you can catch up on the news we share with you guys on air when you go to our website, mediamahima.com. And this is what goes off as news for us right now.
That's
Paltwani,
right.
are you going to have a news for us? Are you going to play the news for us? What's your idea?
I'm going to have the news for you, Altu Baba.
Very good, Faltwani. So thank you so much, Baranjan. So here you go. This is your news for today.
PG&E has moved forward with shutting off power Tuesday night in several Northern California counties and amid increased fire danger. The latest PSPS, that's the Public Safety Power Shutoff, was slated to impact about 51,000 customers in parts of 18 counties, which include Alameda, Contra Costa, Napa, Solano, and Sonoma counties. The scope and timing for the power shutoff in Alameda County, estimated number of customers that will be impacted are about 18, and it'll be between 10 p.m. Tuesday and 12 a.m. on Wednesday. Contra Costa County, about 334 people will be affected, 6 p.m. Tuesday to 12 a.m. Wednesday. Napa County would be 6,849 people, and then of course Solano and Sonoma counties are over 1,000 people each who will be affected during this time.
So again, 1,000 households, I mean?
Yeah, 1,000 households. Yeah. And of course, the Caldor fire in the Sierra Nevada, Banjan, has exploded to more than 53,000 acres. A wildfire that raged through a small Northern California forest town on Tuesday, burning dozens of homes as dangerously dry and windy weather also continued to fuel other massive blazes and prompted the nation's largest utility to begin shutting off power to 51,000 consumers. The Caldor fire in the northern Sierra Nevada had burned an estimated 50 homes in and around Grizzly Flats, a town of about 1,200 people, fire officials said at a community meeting. Governor Gavin Newsom has proclaimed a state of emergency for El Dorado County because of this blaze, which quadrupled in size between Tuesday morning and Tuesday night to about 30,000 acres and continued to spread out of control to more than 53,700 acres by Wednesday morning, according to CAL FIRE. Your kids are headed back to school. They're coming back with the sniffles, coughing, or whatever. Is it COVID-19 or is it the common cold? How do you gauge the symptoms? Well, NBC Bay Area did a report on this, Manajan. Summer was officially over for about tens of thousands of school-age children on Wednesday, as more districts in the Bay Area started a new school year with in-person classes, even as COVID-19 cases continue to rise. Among the districts reopening was San Jose Unified, Fremont Unified, San Leandro Unified, Fairfield Unified, and Redwood City Unified. With so many students going back to school, one question many parents are asking is, how do I know if that sniffle is a cold or much more serious, such as COVID-19? Health officials say it's nearly impossible to know off the bat, but children who contract COVID-19 often exhibit a symptom that adults do not. They generally will have stomach issues. The gastrointestinal symptoms of the coronavirus are different in children than they are in adults, because children will have more of a GI complaint than adults, and we're seeing that more with the Delta variant, said Dr. Vincent Tamariz, a pediatric ER physician with Sutter Health. Tamariz also said symptoms in children can include the more traditional COVID-19 signs, such as a dry cough, runny nose, and sometimes a fever. He said that the best thing to do when a child is showing any of these symptoms is to immediately see a doctor. And the best line of defense for children also is to wear masks, is what they're saying. That's news from across the Bay Area, Banajan. And of course, remember we were talking about the Reed Hillview Airport and the lead exposure, the private airport here. Well, Santa Clara County supervisors unanimously approved a measure yesterday to close the Reed Hillview Airport 2 weeks after the release of a study that found elevated lead levels in children from neighborhoods near the airport in the East San Jose area. The soonest the airport could close is January and will require the approval of the Federal Aviation Administration, according to a news release issued early Wednesday morning by the Office of Supervisor Cindy Chavez, who represents the area. The airport serves small private planes which produce far more lead pollution than larger planes. And is much closer to homes than most airports, and this vote comes after a decades-long effort by nearby residents to close the airport. In news from across the United States, Bandajan, the US is reporting more than 1,000 COVID deaths in a single day. The United States reported more than 1,000 COVID-19 deaths yesterday, equating to around 42 fatalities an hour, according to a Reuters tally, as the Delta variant continues to ravage parts of the country with low vaccination rates. Coronavirus-related deaths have spiked in the United States over the past month and are averaging about 769 per day, the highest since mid-April, according to the Reuters tally. President Joe Biden's administration confirmed on Tuesday evening it planned to extend requirements for travelers to wear masks on airplanes, trains, and buses and at airports and train stations until mid-January. Like many other countries, the Delta variant has begun to present a major challenge even in the United States. The Reuters tally from state data on Tuesday showed 1,017 deaths, taking the death toll from the pandemic to just under 623,000 people, the highest number of deaths officially reported by any country in the world. The last time the United States recorded more than 1,000 deaths on a daily basis was back in March. There is a news that's coming out with regard to the vaccines also, where they're saying that the US CDC has said that I think they're going to start offering COVID-19 vaccine booster shots in September. This was an announcement that was made. The US government said on Wednesday that it plans to make COVID-19 vaccine booster shots widely available starting September 20th as infections from the coronavirus Delta variant, citing data indicating diminished protection from the vaccines over time. US officials are prepared to offer a third shot to Americans who completed their initial inoculation in 2-dose COVID-19 vaccines made by Moderna and by Pfizer, and at least 8 months ago, the Department of Health and Human Services has said in a statement. Initial booster shots will be given to those that receive the 2-dose vaccines, but U.S. health officials said they anticipate that people who receive the single-dose Johnson & Johnson and other COVID-19 vaccines approved in the United States will also need boosters at some point. The United States will not begin administering Johnson & Johnson shots until March of next year. The U.S. Justice Department says that the Missouri state gun law is unconstitutional. President Joe Biden's Justice Department is stepping up its fight against a new state law in Missouri that aims to invalidate many federal gun regulations, saying that the measure has impeded law enforcement efforts to work with state and local police and is unconstitutional. And those of you who've been following the story with regard to that rapper R. Kelly, do you know about him, Altibaba? The one who's...
the pedophile guy, right?
Yeah, the sex abuse scandal. Well, he went on trial on Wednesday in Brooklyn on charges that he was the ringleader of a 2-decade scheme where he recruited women and underage girls for sex, with a prosecutor calling the R&B superstar a predator. Opening statements will be delivered to a jury of 7 men and 5 women who will decide the 54-year-old Kelly's fate. The United States also plans to double the number of asylum officers in the Biden border overhaul. So basically, President Joe Biden's administration unveiled a plan to overhaul the U.S. asylum system on Wednesday, including a doubling of staff to try to speed up processing at the Mexico border, where migrant arrests have soared to about 20-year highs at this point. The proposed rule would authorize asylum officers to accept or reject migrants' claims for protection soon after they cross the border, bypassing the backlogged U.S. immigration courts, where cases often take years to be resolved by judges. The Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said in a statement that the regulation would allow the United States to more promptly and efficiently consider asylum claims of individuals while ensuring fundamental fairness. Then, of course, the CDC is also saying that vaccine protectiveness seems to have slipped with this Delta variant emerging, Manajan. So, but still, it is effective in preventing severe or serious disease and hospitalization. But although it is not, you could still have a breakthrough infection even if you're vaccinated. That was the news from across the United States and the Bay Area. Right now, it's time for us to go into our Ganika Kida.
Of course, Faltwani will go on the Ganika Kida, Banajan, but I was thinking, just it's already there. You can actually finish international news also, Faltwani. What do you think?
Sure, Altu Baba. Well, let's tell you, Banajan, in international news, of course, the raging news is about Haiti and also about the Taliban. 3 people have been killed as of in the anti-Taliban protests in Jalalabad as of today. Witnesses said as a militant group moved to create a government and Western countries ramped up evacuations from the chaotic Kabul airport, the deaths mar the Taliban's efforts to consolidate Islamist rule and their promises of peace following their sweep into the capital. They have said they will not take revenge against old enemies and will respect the rights of women within the framework of Islamic law.
But going counter to what they said, right?
Which is what?
They went and destroyed the leaders' statues and everything, and now it's totally counter to what they said. Like, oh, it's a new Taliban.
Yeah.
I think they're throwing out. I think there's a faction of Taliban which is not going to agree with the moderate Taliban.
Yeah.
Well. Welcome to democracy.
Well, here's what they claim that women's rights will be respected, but you know what they've done? They've taken Salima Mazari, one of the only 3 women governors of Afghanistan, into custody because she was the person who openly opposed them.
Yep.
And according to local reports, Mazari is the Hazara district governor of Chaharkint Balk. Mazari, who is known for raising her voice against the Taliban, had said earlier that there will be no place for women if the insurgents take control of the country. In the provinces controlled by the Taliban, no women exist there anymore, not even in the cities. They are all imprisoned in their homes,
Wow.
she had said in an interview from Mazar-e-Sharif before it fell to the Taliban. Mazari is actually a member of the Hazara community, most of whom are Shia Muslims, who the Sunni Taliban consider a heretical sect. They have been regularly targeted by the Taliban and Islamic State fighters, including an attack on a school in the capital in May that killed more than 80 girls.
Wow. And of course, you know that, right? Remember we talked about the involvement of the Saudi and everything. Ashraf Ghani, right? The ex-president of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Very fine. They found him finally.
In UAE.
Yeah.
He surfaced in the UAE. Yeah. And anyway, before Taliban sweeping takeover of Afghanistan, this lady Mazari had been recruiting locals to supplement the conventional security forces in the district to fight off the militants. In other world news, Panajan, the United Kingdom, UK lawmakers have vented their anger on Wednesday at Prime Minister Boris Johnson and US President Joe Biden over the collapse of Afghanistan into Taliban hands, calling it a failure of intelligence, leadership and even moral duty. Speaking at an emergency session of Parliament recalled from its summer break to discuss Afghanistan, Johnson said the Taliban would be judged on their actions, not their words, after they sought to convince the world that they would not seek revenge. But barely a minute into his opening address, he faced a critical interruption from a member of his own Conservative Party, setting the tone for what would be a skeptically received speech about how Britain wanted to be at the heart of an international coalition holding the Taliban to account. We will judge this regime based on the choices it makes and by its actions rather than by its words, on its attitude to terrorism, to crime, narcotics, as well as a humanitarian access and the rights of girls to receive an education, Johnson said. Johnson, who was attempted to head for a holiday on Saturday only to return as the Taliban closed in on the Afghan capital, was accused of, quote, careless leadership, unquote, by opposition Labour leader Keir Starmer. There's been a major miscalculation of the resilience of the Afghan forces and staggering complacency from our government about the Taliban, Starmer said. Former Conservative Prime Minister Theresa May also asked how Britain could have so miscalculated. Everybody is in shock that how could they have miscalculated the strength of the Taliban?
No, the intellect of Taliban, not the strength.
Well, they're saying it's that lightning offensive, right? In such short time, they recaptured all of Afghanistan.
Tells you what? They're a new Taliban, that's why. But anyway, speaking of words and action, Paldari, there's one word I hope it turns into action over here in America. Internationally, Pope Francis, he said finally that getting vaccinated is an act of love.
Oh, wow.
So it's appeal to all Americans, by the way.
Yeah.
He was talking to Americans and said getting vaccinated is an act of love. So
Yeah.
it means people who have been pushing out vaccination now can actually go get vaccinated because it's about showing love. What did we talk about from day number 1, Fatwani?
Yeah.
What have we said?
We have said that do this not only for yourself but for those around you. Yeah.
Correct. And suddenly Pope Francis says that on stage and he gets famous.
Yeah.
Not fair.
Yeah. Well, Balajan, also let's tell you why. Because even in Britain, COVID-19 cases now are up by 7.6% over the past week. It's surging again across the world, Balajan. Let's not take this for granted. Let's please go ahead and get vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, stay the heck home and mask up. Seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, don't go out and
Yeah.
don't party and say that, oh, I'm in my social bubble. And it's so annoying. I mean, I was actually at I met a couple of people who say, oh, I'm in my social bubble. And I'm like, but in that social bubble, there'll be 1 or 2 people who are not vaccinated. And there are little kids. You're putting the lives of people at risk, Vanajan, especially the ones that you care.
Think about how schools are actually even trying to help, this thing by going against the law. Classic example. I don't mean to bring it back to the nation, but of course you didn't talk about it, did you? Texas schools.
No.
They actually have mandated masks as a dress code. When the Texas governor actually has, banned masks. You know that, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, in news from India, of course, Panajan, four Pakistan-occupied Kashmir residents have been detained while infiltrating in Poonch along the LOC. 4 people have been detained by the Indian Army while they were sneaking into this side along the line of control in Poonch district of the Union Territory. Police sources said the 4 infiltrators, reportedly in the age group of 24, 18, 14 and 9 years of age, were intercepted while they were sneaking in from the LOC in the Poonch sector. As per information, initially 2 POK nationals who infiltrated into the Indian side from near the line of control were in Poonch were detained. Now it's increased to in number to the number of 4 people right now. India, in collaboration with the United Nations, has launched a tech platform for peacekeepers, providing terrain-related information to peacekeepers. The launch came as India assumed the presidency of the 15-nation UN Security Council for the month of August. The project was launched in the presence of External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar here at UN headquarters. That's all we have time for on this morning's Good Morning Bay. We will tell you ki suraj ki baahon mein ab hai ye zindagi. So stay happy, stay healthy. We'll see you tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Have a wonderful Wednesday.
जो थी कल तक बस एक आरज़ू, वो ही पा गए हैं मैं और तू। थामे हम हाथों में यूं ही हाथ, शहर दिल में घूमेंगे साथ साथ, सारे दिन सारी रात, बरस रही है एक खुशी हर कहीं।
Hi, this is Farhan Akhtar and you're listening to Radio The Hotties, where the entertainment just keeps getting hotter.